I'm Mel. I'm a trustee at Safe Geeks for Women. So Safe Geeks for Women was started in 2015 by Tracy Wise. Tracy attended a, a concert in Cardiff and was sexually assaulted herself. She started the Safe Geeks for Women handle at that time on Twitter. And, at first it was meant to be just a place that she could kind of anonymously reshare stories for people who had been sexually assaulted at a live music event. But then in sort of, mid 2016 or so, I met Tracy and I came on board, and that was their first live event. So Barry from Oxygen Thief had us on his big one dayer in Bristol. And from there, we sort of started thinking more about what it was we were doing, we were wanting to achieve. Because, to be perfectly honest, I think the first year was kind of fueled by anger. And while anger will get you a long way, anger will not make positive change. Anger is just shouting into the void. So, we then were asked to go out and tour with Frank Turner and talk to people about, sexual safety and how to look after themselves. So now we do a lot of what's called bystander training. We do it at festivals, we do it at gigs. We teach people, sort of how to get other people out of trouble should they see someone in trouble in sort of the safest way possible. And that's where we are now. We did have sort of 2 years off for the coronavirus, I'm afraid, but this has been our first big festival summer out, and it's been amazing. So it's good to be back. In any event, we have been at many of the Festival Republic festivals this year, or will be. So we will be at Reading and Leeds. Where were we? We've been at Rebellion. We were at 2000 Trees, which is an independent festival and a real favorite of ours. Everything from "You guys are so sexist," right? Because the name is Safe Geeks for Women. Why isn't it Safe Geeks for everyone? What about the men? To which my response is, we are happy to help any gender, anywhere, all genders, which I'll come to in a minute. But if you think that men who make up, something like anywhere between 8 to 20% of sexual assaults are the focus, and that's great. We're happy to share our contacts with you, and you go away and start your organization. No one's done it yet, but we would be more than pleased to help with that. Another negative side for us that we get is because we're called Safe Geeks for Women, and because the gender critical or the TERF people were not so much around then, it never occurred to us, but we have had some bad incidents where people are like, well, thinking that we were perhaps gender critical or TERFs, and we're not. And in fact, we're just the opposite. We're very positive now, actually, in our training materials to say that, trans women are women, trans men are men. And if you, people are whatever gender they say they are, and if that's not acceptable to you, then perhaps, your time is better spent. People who have come up to us now and in the past to say, particularly at festivals, I've been sexually assaulted, I've been made afraid in some way, can you help me? And we're not counselors. We do have a card of sort of numbers of people if they've been seriously sexually assaulted. We absolutely make sure everybody knows how to treat someone that's been that way. Maybe we'll help them to welfare if that's what they choose, because remember, it is their choice. Maybe if they want it to be a police matter, we'll help them with that as well. Just generally give them their agency back. So that's really rewarding. I think it's good to have people who can come up to you and go, oh my God, I didn't think this happened to anyone else. Like, you get that occasionally from women, particularly women my age, because I'm obviously older. I thought it was just me that it happened to. And you do get some good positive, yeah, go you kind of stuff. But for us, the thing that we really want to get across, we really want to engage people long enough to, if thrust a flyer in their hand so that they have a list of ways to protect themselves, or have that conversation, and those are the best interactions, and those are the ones that we're looking for.
But do you also get a sense that just by being at an event and having a presence there, and kind of flying the flag for Safe Gigs for Women, you're preventing things happening that might have happened otherwise?
Yep. So look, I've talked about that before, and I don't know, because obviously there's no way to quantify that, but I do think that if you were the sort of person who might be the kind of creepy person who, wants to grab women by the bums or the boobs or what have you, or men, by their bits or whatever, and you thought that that was an appropriate way to behave and that nobody was going to give a shit, excuse my French, then you might perhaps, if everybody's walking around in a Safe Gigs Women t-shirt and there's a Safe Gigs Women table, you might, I mean, it might make you more careful in what you do, but it certainly might make you not do it. You might be like, oh yeah, well, they're just a bunch of prudes here. They don't, and whatever the creeps think is fine as long as they keep their hands to themselves. I can't police their brains. I don't have enough time or inclination to do that. So, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on it, but obviously difficult, impossible to quantify, but certainly, certainly I think it would put people on alert. So, I was 13 when I went to my first concert, and that was in 1982, and I saw Eddie Money on a racetrack in California. And some guy grabbed my bum and groped me. And I just thought, oh, well, that's what happens at these rock and roll places, Eddie Money, right? These rock and roll places. And I never thought any differently. And it didn't occur to me until much, much later in life that perhaps that, that wasn't normal and it wasn't okay. And I think, a lot of the pushback that you get against, like, what is the buzzword this week? It's woke now. It used to be social justice warriors, whatever. I think a lot of the pushback that you get is people who've been raised a certain way, and times have changed around them, and they're just unable to, or unwilling. I think unwilling is probably the better way to put it. They're unwilling to make any changes to their own behavior, so they just shout people down who point out that they don't like it.
Yeah, no, I think it's wonderful that this generation just don't accept these things as as we did.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Something about
If we're coming to your festival, we'll have a table. You can come and chat to anybody who's there. Our volunteers tend to be in the red t-shirts, although we do sell t-shirts in other colors. The red t-shirt will almost always denote a volunteer, so come up, say hi, ask us how we're doing, ask us, any questions that you want to ask us. But what we hope is we've got people who will come up and say, hey, what can I do? And I can sit there and talk to them about, using techniques to get other people out of trouble. So you always focus on the person who's having the problem, not causing the problem. You always, you try to distract it. So you go in and you're like, you might say to the person who looks like they're not having a great time, like, oh my God, I think we went to school together. I'm sure we went to school together. I am going to buy you a drink, and then just try and gently tow them off with you. Now, two things will happen there. They will gratefully go, and that's worked for me in more than one situation. Or they'll go, who the hell are you? And you've embarrassed yourself. Okay, you've embarrassed yourself. Oh yeah, gosh, you really, I'm so sorry. And you walk away. You've embarrassed yourself, so what? You make this assessment. You can also delegate. You can be like, so we've got a good mate who's a musician, Dave Giles, and he is, I think, close to 6'6", right? He's a big boy. He's not he's a big guy. And he said to me, look, I don't think that I am the person to be doing that, right? I think that, as a great big guy, maybe I'll just frighten someone further. So delegate that. Is your, do you have a female friend with you who's go, hey, do you want to go and do that? And if you feel like it's unsafe, or you just, you have no one to delegate that to, then you maybe take steps. Maybe you go to the bar and see if you can find the manager, or maybe you go to, the welfare tent, or, find the nearest security guy yourself. Like, if you think it's that severe, if you see someone being dragged off by mates, by someone away from their mates because they're so drunk, they don't know any better. Maybe just walk up and say, hey, that's my friend, where are you going? Like, keep track of your friends is always advice that we give, particularly at the younger festivals, sort of Reading and Leeds. Keep track of your friends. Tracy one year was at Reading. She saw a young man lying in the field, and she turned him over and been lying there so long he had ants all over him, right? Because he was off his face. Obviously she got medical assistance and all of that, but if you're in a group of people, by all means, drink and party and have a good time. Our messages never don't drink. Our messages never don't do drugs. Our messages never dress modestly. Wear what the hell you want. Do whatever the hell you want. But if you've got friends and your friends have asked you to look after them, or there's supposed to be 5 of you and now there's 4, even if you're off your face, you now have a responsibility to work out where someone's gone, right? Because there have been rapes at Reading and Leeds, and we all know what happened at Tea in the Park. And it's for the festivals in particular, that's something you need to be across, but generally just be across where your mates are in a crowd. So these are all things that people can do to look after others. And the other thing that I say, particularly I say it to men, although that sounds very sexist, is don't hit the guy. Like, your focus should always be on the person who's having the issue. We don't condone violence. We don't want pushing and shoving. If you think that it will come to that, then please get someone to go in for you. So that's it. Those are the conversations we hope to have at Loud Women. And I hope that we can have them with plenty of people. And if people disagree, we're always like happy to chat about that too. So
I'm sure you'll find lots of very receptive ears at Loud Women Fest.
good.
Yeah, no, really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
You.
You touched on it briefly. If anyone wants to get in touch to help, to volunteer, or
Sure.
anyone's putting on a tour or a festival and wants
info at sgfw.org.uk, probably the best. We get loads and loads of messages on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll just be honest with you, 3 of our management team are with the NHS, and so are just entirely overworked and underpaid. And others of our management team are sort of out long term, so we're paddling as fast as we can. But if you genuinely want an answer from us sometime, normally info at sgfw.org.uk. Obviously Google us, you can find us. We've got a website, it's great. So yeah.
Oh,
hello, this is Zenobia. All of them are Oriental short hairs because that's what she looks like, Dobby or Adam Driver.